Hello and welcome back to another Warlords of Draenor video. This time I'm going to be showing you the level 100 Mage talents. Now this is still beta and anything could change. So the talents for all mage specs are basically split into three. We've got on the left a passive, which is useful to your spec. In the middle we have Prismatic Crystal, which is a pretty cool AoE style spell. It's nice. And then finally we have a spec specific direct damage spell that's also AoE here to the right. So first of all, I'm in Frost spec. Now their passive is Thermal Void. This basically means that your ice slants will extend Icy Veins by 2 seconds. The middle one is Prismatic Crystal, and that's pretty cool. It's got a minute cooldown though, so we're going to use it last. Then the direct damage one we have is Comet Storm, so I'll show you Comet Storm first. This will call down 7 comets. They will do damage basically within a 4-yard radius of where they land, so let's use that. As you can see, it's got a nice flashy spell effect, and overall, it's just a really cool spell. Prismatic Crystal basically summons this big crystal, and any damage you do to that crystal will be amplified, and then spread out evenly to targets within 8 yards. So we will summon our crystal here, and then we target the, it targets the crystal for you, and then, as you can see, when I Frostfire Bolt it, the damage is sort of reciprocated out to these 2 targets that are beside it. So it's a pretty interesting spell. I've got to wonder what it's going to be like for DPS meters and things like that to deal with though. So yeah, a bit weird. Anyway, let's swap over into Fire. Now for Fire, we have Kindling as our passive. This basically means your Fireball, Pyroblast, and Infernal Blast crits will reduce the cooldown of combustion by 1 second. Prismatic Crystal is the exact same, and then our spec-specific nuke is Meteor. Meteor is actually awesome. Basically what it does is it calls down a big meteor. After 3 seconds it will land, dealing a whole bunch of damage, split between all targets within 8 yards. And then it will also burn the ground, which deals a dot every 1 second for 8 seconds to anything in the area. So we will cast that, wait a few seconds, and boom! Comes down, does a big bit of damage, and leaves itself an AoE. By the way, the reason why it seems like the damage on these lower level targets is massive is just because the actual stat squish and number squish doesn't really seem to apply to anything that isn't Warlords of Draenor content. Okay. Alright, so I'm back and I'm now an Arcane Mage. Of course, annoyingly enough, all this spec switching that I've done has actually lost me 2 full sets of configured action bars, which is lovely. Anyway, the passive that the Arcane Mages have is overpowered. Basically, Arcane Missiles will extend Arcane Power by 2 seconds, which is fine. Prismatic Crystal is the exact same thing as always, and then Arcane Orb is their interesting one. This essentially fires an orb in a straight line, and it will travel 40 yards and deal some damage through any enemy that it passes, and every time it does damage it generates a charge of Arcane Power. Now that, or Arcane Charge even, that makes it really interesting, I must say. So yeah, certainly a cool spell. Let's use it here. And boom, we are now at 4 stacks of Arcane Charge, so we could throw off a barrage if we wanted to really get rid of that quickly. And yeah, really interesting for its burst capability there, especially in an AoE scenario. You could time this really well with when you're, say, got 2 charges of Arcane Missiles. Overall, I just think that's a really interesting spell, so definitely nice to see. Anyway, do let me know what you think about these talents. I'm going to go back, fix up all my bars, and start testing out specs in full, but I just thought I'd, bring you a bit of a video showcasing the talents, because they're cool. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.